Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Mad Church Disease Podcast. I am your humble host and servant, Marcellus. What's up, everybody? I hope you guys are doing well. I got in the house late today, very late. I literally just walked in the door maybe 20 minutes ago. And so I've been out all day. And so I'm just now getting in. And so I'm a little discombobulated. So I'm going to need a little bit of time to sort of get myself together here. So if you guys can be patient with me, I really do appreciate it. Shout out to all of the members. Shout out to all of everybody that is here. Shout out to all of the subscribers of the channel. I didn't tell everybody beforehand, but please make sure you guys hit the like button. Make sure y'all hit the like button so that you can like the broadcast. We're going to have an interesting conversation tonight. I have done this before on my channel, but I realized when I went back, because somebody had texted me, I did not give the rest of the laws of pimp preaching and how to recognize that you're under a tyrannical leader or a pimp preacher. And so what I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to sort of deviate a little bit from the hot topics. I'm probably going to cover the Johnny Gill stuff tomorrow, but I want to talk to you all tonight and really kind of go through some stuff with you. Hey, Joyce. Good to have you with me tonight, Joyce. And so I want you all to sort of buckle in and let's have a conversation and let's understand when you're being taken advantage of, when you're being pimped, whether it is online, whether you are in an institutional church or whatever. And so we're definitely going to do that. Before I get into that tonight, let me just welcome all of the members. Let me welcome all of the guests. I promise you this will be a great discussion. Daryl, shout out to Daryl Moore, Sharon T. Leonard, G. Stewart, Angela Smith, Darlene, good to see you here. Respective Angle, Keisha Green, Tara, April Eccles, good to see you here. Melanie Rice, good to see you. Spring Davis, Cece, good to have you back. Sister B, good to see you here. Joyce, and so good to have all of you guys here. Please hit the like button. If you can, go ahead and share out this broadcast on your social media, because this is going to be a little bit of a different broadcast, but I definitely think you're going to learn something and we're going to have a really good conversation and you're going to learn some more about me. In this particular live. So you're going to definitely get a little bit of information. Now, before we get into this tonight, I want to let everybody know, if you have not yet subscribed to the Mad Church Disease newsletter, please make sure that you do that. The moderators will put a link down in the description below for you, and you can literally go follow that link to address and go sign up for the newsletter, as well as our SMS text message system, so you can be notified every single time that I get ready to go live, and that we can make sure that you are in the know. Now, today's email didn't go out because I wasn't here, but I just got in the house, but we definitely are going to be ramping up with that, as well as our text message stuff really, really soon. So I'm excited about that. So just make sure that you do that. Tonight is going to be one of those conversations that I think you're going to learn a lot from. And I think you're never, it's going to cause you to really think going forward. Okay. And it's going to cause you to understand, whether it be a person on the internet, whether it be a pastor, somebody who's calling himself a prophet, somebody who is on the internet that is constantly having, these weird, giving amounts. You got to give them $19.75 because God spoke to him from the 19th Psalm, and all of these ridiculous things that these people come up with. And I'm going to talk to you tonight. What's up, Mary? So that you will understand some of these things. And so that's definitely what my channel is about. And I want you to be able to recognize it in others and those types of preachers, etc. And so we're going to get into that tonight, and we're going to have that conversation. Now, before I do that, if you have purchased Reimagining Church, which is the book here, we are going to be sending out an email in the morning about our book club. We're going to officially start our book club on Saturday, August the 16th, I believe it is. And we're going to actually do our book club in the evening, about 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I believe that's 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, so 5 p.m. on the 16th, and we're going to go every Saturday until we sort of get through the book and we have that sort of talk. Okay. And so if you have not yet picked up Frank Viola's Reimagining Church, I'm going to definitely ask you to do so. And we're going to go through the scriptures and we're going to have a good conversation about that. Okay. All right. So if you are interested in becoming a part of the book club and having this conversation, please make sure that you purchase the book. You can get it on Amazon. I believe you can get it on Barnes and Noble. And I'm going to see if I can get Frank to drop by and see if he'll come in and to our book club and just have a conversation. Now, you guys will be getting an email from me tomorrow, and we'll be talking about that. Okay. So yeah. So thank y'all so much. All right. So let me get into this tonight. Now, we're going to talk about how to recognize if your pastor is a pimp, if your prophet is pimping you. We're going to talk about some of the tactics, some of the behaviors, and some of the things that these individuals will do to take advantage of you. And so I want you to buckle in, get prepared, and we're going to talk about these pimp preachers, and we're going to talk about the pimping tactics of preachers in America, and how to recognize if you're being pimped by a vlogger, by a so-called prophet, by all of these individuals. We're going to talk about it tonight and see if some of this stuff is going to ring true for you, and you're going to understand even more what I'm talking about. So let's talk about it. Welcome to the Mad Church Disease Channel, a channel dedicated to our forgotten brothers and sisters throughout the ages. Want to stay connected to me and the Mad Church Disease community? Well, then join our email community newsletter. Stay in the know with all the updates and fresh content that is created for this channel. It's time you join the private community for the revolutionary family, where we can talk and laugh all in a space that's safe with a no judgment zone. Connect with other members and build lasting friendships. The doors are now open. Want to stay connected and be notified each time I go live? Subscribe to the text community and be notified each time that we go live. Simply add your details for instant updates on all our lives. Are you a budding YouTuber or business professional who would like my thoughts on all things business related? Book a free 15-minute consultation where I can help with social media, YouTube, web design, and so much more. Book your consultation now and build your future. Get away from the rat race and build your business. All right, you guys, you can book an appointment with me free for 15 minutes to discuss your YouTube channel and your YouTube journey. If you're looking to use YouTube to grow your brand, grow your business, I am somebody who has been doing this off and on since 2007. I've had various different YouTube channels, successful YouTube channels. I've stopped and started and came back and all that stuff. And if you want some help, I can most certainly help you. If you're the kind of person who wants to wake up every morning and have an actual plan and plan out your day and understand how to work the business of YouTube, you can follow the link that's in the description. The moderators will put that in there or in this video. And you can, of course, come over and book a free consultation with me. I'll give you the first 15 minutes for free. We'll kind of talk about your goals, what it is that you're looking to do. And then from there, we'll go from there. Shout out to G Stewart. Shout out to April J. Thank you for being with me. Blessed and highly favored. Thank you all for being here. Now, let me give you guys a little bit of understanding about me. If you're new to my channel or you're new to me, hey, Juice Radio, what's up, Regina? I want you all to understand a little bit about me, okay? For many of you that may not know, I pastored for a very short period of time. I assistant pastored for a very short period of time as well. And but I've been in ministry since I was 15 years old. I've been in the institutional church probably my entire life. And I have served a number of preachers and bishops, some well-known, some not that well-known. Okay. When I walked away from the institutional church in 2015, I believe it was, I believe at the time, I was either 30 or 35 years old, I believe. In about 3 days, in about 3 days, I will celebrate my 50th birthday. Yay for me. And I still look this good. God is a great God, isn't he? That's what somebody told me the other day. But anyway, and I'll literally be celebrating my 50th birthday. And for me, coming out of the institutional church was almost like having the spiritual rug pulled from underneath me. I was floundering, trying to figure out what in the world was going on with me, because church was my life. Church was everything to me. And I did not understand why I was somewhat being pulled away. And I just did not understand it. I had gone through a whole lot of stuff, not personally where somebody had done something to me. It was just a spiritual awakening for me. And once I got out of the institutional church, when you say you left the institution, most people have made the physical building of church and Jesus synonymous with one another. They've literally taught it to the place to where you cannot have Jesus without having this institution. And to be quite frank with you, one of the things that I learned when I left the institution, that there were no more crutches to stand on as it related to my spiritual walk and my spiritual journey. I think sometimes, and you will learn in one of Frank Viola's other books, Pagan Christianity, was written by two Christians, George Barna of the Barna Group and Frank Viola. And one of the things that Frank and George talked about in the book, they talked about the spiritual crutches that so many people use as it relates to their spiritual walk, right? And wait a minute, did I miss? Oh, well, don't let me pay attention to this chat. Understand, in this chat, ladies and gentlemen, we have a little bit of everybody. We have some people that are in the church, out of the church. We have atheists. We have agnostics. We have all kind of people that follow this channel. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that because I believe that it garners a really good conversation and it's very healthy for dialogue. Okay. But I'm just trying to give you guys a little bit of understanding, especially for those of you that are new and you've never heard me say these things. Okay. So when I came out of the institutional church, I just was, trying to really kind of get my footing and find out what God was doing with me and through me. And that's one of the ways that I ended up running into the Church Folk Revolution. We know him as CFR. And when I ran into CFR, some things sort of started to click with me and make sense with me as far as what my journey was going to look like. Now, the Mad Church Disease name and channel, I want you all to understand, for those of you that do not know where Mad Church Disease came from, back under the Clinton administration, they had a mad cow disease breakout, right? And I started doing some studying on what actually is mad cow disease. And mad cow disease, if you look it up, it is a disease that ultimately affects the brain of the cow. And this disease that affects the brain of the cow eventually starts to affect the neurological system of that cow. So that cow doesn't have the ability to stand up on its own legs. And for many of us who are in the institution or even out of the institution, a lot of people do not have the ability to stand up on their own spiritual legs, their spiritual 2 feet. You'll hear me say that all the time. And this channel is a channel that is dedicated to our brothers and sisters, our forgotten brothers and sisters throughout the ages that have stepped out of the safe bounds of Christianity to simply tell the truth. And that truth sometimes is a harsh truth to accept. It is an overwhelming truth to accept, especially when you don't really understand the great love that God has for us. Because most of us are in a works-based kind of situation. We're trying to appease God. We're trying to make God happy. God is never happy in our mind in the way that we teach it. God is never pleased with anything that we do. So we have this really warped vantage point or opinion of God. And so tonight, as I endeavor to kind of go with you through a process of understanding what tyrannical leadership and what leaders who take advantage of sheep look like, I want you to sort of run this in contrast to the type of leaders that you might have encountered or are encountering now. Some of these people are even on the internet. They are collecting cash apps and they are doing all sorts of things and, giving out fake prophecies. And, these people are doing all kinds of things. And so tonight, ladies and gentlemen, I want to take you through some things that you need to watch out for, pay attention to as it relates to pimping preachers, pimping pastors, pimping leaders, so and pimping vloggers, so that you will understand what's happening. Now, I don't know about you, but you can't go on TikTok now or some of these social media platforms without a prophet. You scrolling, I don't know about you all, but I'm always running into some TikTok prophet, some Facebook prophet. I'm always running into somebody that's doing some type of, a hook 'em a tire, a shoot 'em a bobo. And it's like, Lord, you just get overwhelmed. Hey, Tasha Global, I think this conversation will be really good for you. And so, yeah, this is going to be one of those conversations tonight that you're gonna want to talk about. Okay. And at any point, because I have a lot of points to make here tonight. I really wasn't going to talk about this tonight, but I kind of felt like, I guess I'm gonna go ahead and do it. Now, we have another video that's going to be on this channel soon where we talk about gossip, hypocrisy, and the bankrupt church. That's coming. Okay. So y'all get ready. We're going to talk about gossip. We're going to talk about hypocrites, and we're going to talk about why the church is so bankrupt. And we're going to have that discussion as well. That's on the horizon. All right. So let's get into this tonight. All right. So here are things. What are the signs that you're dealing with a pastor, a leader, a vlogger that is really crooked? And I want you guys to really lend your ears to what I'm going to say to you tonight. What most people don't realize and recognize is that spiritual people, now this is my personal belief, and I think the scripture bears this out. Spiritual people have those of us who really are spiritual. Let me be very clear. Now, I'm not talking about religious. Understand what I'm saying? I'm talking about spiritual, and there is a difference. Okay. There is a difference between being spiritual and being religious. Religion has a lot to do with dogma. Religion actually has a lot to do with binary constructs. It has a lot to do with doctrine and how people have structured their beliefs and all of those types of things, right? So with that being said, I need you to understand, I consider myself more spiritual today than I do religious, right? I believe that Jesus is the most successful man in human history. I believe that the finished work of the cross, when Jesus hung his head and said it was finished, I believe that it was finished. For some odd reason, I don't know, we have this doctrinal belief and understanding that when Jesus hung his head and said it was finished, we were supposed to pick up the mantle and start all the work all over again. I don't understand that kind of thinking, to be honest with you. And how I've been able to find rest in God and rest in my spiritual journey and rest in my spiritual walk is understanding that the finished work of the cross and what Jesus died to give me is a finished work. Okay. When you see me over here cussing and fussing and laughing and joking and all of those types of things, it is because I have a full trust, hope, and reliance in the finished work of the cross. I am not in a works-based salvation. I am not under an old covenant system where I am mixing the old covenant and the new covenant and trying to, have this sort of kind of weird kind of relationship with Jesus, because old covenant and this new covenant mixture is kind of really interesting to me. On the one hand, you're trying to keep the 10 commandments, and on the other hand, you're trying to say you have the New Testament, which is full of grace and truth, and that you're over here on the grace side. Now, here's the problem that we have today. A lot of preachers today, you hear a lot of this today. More grace, everybody. More grace. More grace, everybody. More grace. What these preachers are doing and what they recognize, but they won't talk to you, is most of them understand that when the Apostle Paul talked about should we continue in sin, he says, God forbid, but that there was grace that would abound even though we would be in sin. And a lot of these preachers live lifestyles, and they have mentalities that they can do whatever they want to do, sleep with whomever they want to sleep with, and that God is ultimately going to forgive them because we are in the age, the dispensation, the eon of grace. Now, that word eon that I just quoted to you Or you might hear that if you look it up and you study it. There's a word called Eonian life, okay, or life forever. And that's the word that a lot of people translated forever and ever. So when you hear certain things in the scripture, that people are talking about are going to be forever and ever, if you actually study those words out or the etymology of those words, you will find consequently that actually is not accurate. But that's why we're going to actually have our book club, and we're going to get into some scriptures and go into that stuff on a greater level. Let me continue. So how do you recognize if your leader is crooked? Tasha Global, pay attention. There is always going to be a pattern of financial impropriety. Okay. And you're going to find out that when a leader is not called of God, when a leader is a pimp, when a leader is simply raping and pillaging the pocketbooks of the people, you will find that there will always be financial impropriety. Now, I'm not going to say any names tonight, but I want you to pick up what I'm putting down. You will find that these people will, on the one day, raise money for a court case, and then the next day you will find them hiring a chef. You will hear them saying that they're putting digital cameras on their home. You will hear them saying all sorts of things that they have done with the money that they didn't actually do with the things that they said they were going to do with the money. So it's a financial impropriety there. They will mishandle funds. They will live beyond their means. They will find themselves in leased Rolls Royces. They will have leased Mercedes Benz. They will be in leased parsonages. They will be in properties that they do not own. They will be using the people's money to live a life and a lifestyle that they could not normally afford based upon their skill set, what they, their educational background. You will find these individuals using that in order for them to live beyond their means. Okay. So that way you understand what I'm talking about. Okay. Now, let me put it here. You will also find that there is a lack of transparency. You all will find that there is always a turning around of the funds, and they'll tell you that the funds are going to be used for one thing, and then the next thing you know, the funds is going to be used for something else. You cannot actually get an accurate account of what the money is being used for. And every 6 months or 7 months from now, they got a new project that they're working on. Lord have mercy. I'm teaching good tonight. You will find that they always have a new project that they're working on. And in order for them to constantly and consistently get the people to constantly keep giving, they will always have some new project that they have to be raising money for. Now, you will also find that there is an element of manipulation consistently with them, but you will see that element of manipulation is always for their personal gain, okay? Because they are typically living off of the cash apps. They are typically living off of the gifts that the people are giving. They are typically living off of those things, and they are actually not, they're not working for it. Now, some of them will try and they'll use some of the funds to go and dibble dabble in another industry. It could be writing books. It could be the music industry. You will see that people will use the money to try and birth careers that are non-existent. You will see them use the money for all of these types of things. When I have conversations with preachers and I listen to preachers talk about how they were able to amass their money, people like Noel Jones, Bishop T.D. Jakes, and some of these other preachers, one of the things that they will do once they have a mass amount of money, a lot of them will say things like, oh, well, I'm an entrepreneur. But what I always try to remind people of is most of the people and most of the preachers that are now have these means and has this wealth, they got that wealth through the gifts of the people. They took the money from the people and they turned it over like flipping houses. So they took your money and they used that money to fund their their businesses and their ventures, etc. Now, I'm not going to call any names tonight, but I do know one preacher who took the money and has taken the money, and he owns restaurants. He's a restaurateur. So they take the church's finance and then they turn it over into for-profit businesses, right? And at the same time, they're taking your money and taking your funds and turning it into for-profit businesses. They're telling you to just believe God. God's going to bless you. All you know, you got to hold on to God's unchanging hand. But there's always a level of lack of transparency with them when you start questioning them about what they're doing with your money. And then there's always some sort of scheme and scam in order for them to constantly and consistently get your money. And they're doing it for personal gain. And also, you will find that there is a lack of ethical standards when it comes to the way that they're doing their business. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank y'all. So here we go. Y'all ready? Here we go. Because this is gonna be good. I promise y'all. They have a lack of ethical standards. Now, what I mean by ethical standards is you will find that a lot of these people who are living beyond their means and they're using your money and living off of your money, they have such a lack of ethical and moral standards. They're hiring men to come in and massage them. They're hiring people to come in and cook for them, and do all of these things with your money, right? They're traveling to foreign places that they could not otherwise afford if you would not have provided them with the money in order for them to go to these places. The one question I have always asked myself, even when I was in the institutional church, is what happens when the money is removed from this situation? If I stop giving my money to this situation, what happens to it? In most cases, ladies and gentlemen, if you remove your finances from a lot of these institutions and a lot of this stuff, the whole ball of cards comes tumbling down. Now, am I saying that all preachers and all pastors are charlatans? No, I am not. Okay? No, I am not. I do believe that there are some people that actually are trying to do the work of God. And I do believe that there are some people that genuinely love God's people. Right? I really do believe that. But here's what's happening amongst American Christianity. American Christianity is a different beast within itself, right? And whether you know it or not, we have a different version of Christianity. It's easy to have our version of Christianity because our Christianity is steeped in abundance. But it's a different type of Christianity when you're in the Sudan or you're in East Africa or some of these other places. You understand what I'm saying? That kind of Christianity is completely different. Shout out to Steph D for becoming a new member. It's a different type of Christianity. Understand that. So the lack of ethical standards, they'll tell you it's okay for them to get a little poop on their peen. They will tell you that it's okay for them, and it was okay. And they will gloss over the fact, that they had affairs on their spouses and they have affairs on their spouses. They gloss over that. They gloss over 10-year, 13-year affairs that they've had with people. Gloss over it. Lack of ethical standards. Lack of standards. Okay. There's a lack of accountability. They're no longer accountable to anybody. They want to be the head Negro in charge. I am the chief master. I am the chief master, right? I no longer need anybody else because now I have become a master. I'm a master Jedi, right? I'm a master Jedi. I don't need nobody's help. So there's a lack of accountability. Or how about this? When you call out what they're doing, they become defensive when they're questioned. Instead of them absorbing what is being asked of them, Lord help me tonight, they become defensive. Well, who are you to ask me this, that, boo, boo, boo? And oh my God, you guys, you never give me the benefit of the doubt. You always give other people the benefit of the doubt. Defensive. And it becomes quite sensitive in order for you to deal with them. Now, here's one of the things that you have to understand. Now, I got some of these from the 48 laws of power, but I think they are very crucial to this. Listen. A lot of these preachers and pastors and leaders and all of these people on the internet who are cunning, they never want themselves as the master to be outshined. They don't want anybody to outshine them. So they have to create the illusion that they are the chiefest of chiefs among everybody in order for them to hold this air of superiority amongst everyone. And that could be a blogger, that could be a pastor, that could be a leader. You have to understand what I'm saying. It's never a situation where the master is to be outshined. Here's another thing. When you're on in churches and you're on the internet, listen to me carefully. They live by a code of never trusting friends. They only learn how to use people, and they use them as if they're their enemy, all while smiling in their face. Your pastor, your leaders, your all of these people will use you. They won't trust you, but they will use your gifts. They will use the abilities that you have. And a lot of times, mind you, it's for free because you're volunteering. You're not even getting paid, right? All of this is for the work of the ministry. Now, some of you are going to have a tough time with what I'm going to say because you probably didn't know this, but according to the Barna Group, I haven't got the latest statistic, but I'm sure it's quite the same, if not higher. The last statistic that I looked up with the Barna Group said that 87% of all money that is raised in church never leaves the building. Understand what I just said. 87% of all of the money that is raised in the institutional church, that is your Sunday morning worship experience, 87% of that money never goes anywhere. It stays within the four walls of that church. It pays for the pastor. It pays to keep the lights on. It pays for the carpet cleaning. It pays the church secretary or whomever, the musicians. 87% of that money stays in-house, which leaves a very small percentage to actually go out and do the quote unquote work of ministry. Now, after I started really taking a look at this for myself in my own personal life and my own personal work, I kept saying to myself, how in the world can I keep giving all of this money? And we keep giving all of this money, and very little is actually happening in our communities and in the places and the spaces. How are people still going hungry if we're quote unquote giving to the Lord, and the Lord is taking our little and making it become much, and he's bringing it into our lives? Have you ever not noticed that for the most part, what was happening is God was blessing you on your job or in the work that you were doing, and you were then turning around and giving that money into an institution where 87% of the money that you gave never left the building. It never went to feed the hungry. It never went to clothe the naked. It never went to visit widows. It never went to help orphans. It never goes to do any of that. And so here's what you will get from a lot of church people who push back on what I say here. They will say, well, Marcellus, that's not all churches, because my church has a really big blah, blah, blah ministry. Whatever the ministry is, you can fill in the blank. You can fill in the blank. But I often tell people when they say that to me, but that is not, you are the minority, you are not the majority. And to be honest with you, if your pastor actually has a vision and understands what their purpose is and why they're doing what they're doing on whatever side of the world that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, then you need to understand I'm not talking about everybody, because see, here's what people like to do to me and my channel. But you ain't never heard nothing like this on their channel. All right, let me move on. Here's what people like to do to me and my channel. Marcellus is just angry. He hates all the pastors. Marcellus just hates the church and blah, 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 blah. Which nothing could be further from the truth. Many of you don't know, I still serve on boards of churches. I still help non-profits. I still consult with my fellow men and women of the gospel. I still sit with them in meetings and have conversations about different aspects of ministry, etc., etc. So because you see me on the internet, people make all sorts of assumptions, and I want you to understand, as someone who follows the Mad Church Disease channel, and you are a revolutionary, I want you to understand that the revolution is not to annihilate. The revolution is to illuminate, so that we can use some sculpture and really dig into some real truths. Like it's like carving out. It's a carving out of stuff so that we can glean the things that we need to glean, so we can be most useful in the places that God wants us to be used in. If you are a prophet, you know, if you're a real prophet of God, your gift is not confined to the four walls of an institution, right? If you're really called by God and you're a servant of God, your gift cannot be confined by the four walls of the institution. Your gift works in the grocery store. Your gift works at the hair salon. Your gift works in all places and spaces where you are. And I'll go beyond gift. I'll say your function, because God gave some pastors, some prophets, some teachers, some evangelists for the work, for the equipping of the saints, for the work of ministry, right? So it is called taking what you're doing, and Tasha Global and some other people have defined that as the marketplace. So you're taking what God has entrusted in you, and it's going outside. I had a real good question. I had a real good call today from my youngest niece. My youngest niece called me today, and she said, Uncle, she said, and I praise God for this. I praise God for this. She called me. She said, Uncle, because, you know, every now and then she'll call me. She'll ask me some questions about the word, and we'll have some question, answer situation. And she said, well, Uncle, every time I keep opening the scripture, she says, I keep getting this overwhelming feeling, like it just takes over my whole body. And she says, sometimes I get really like I'll get the shakes and I'll get nervous. She's like, I don't understand why when I start reading the scripture, what's the feeling that I'm getting? And I told her, I said, first of all, I believe that that's the presence of God. I said, but what you need to understand that when sometimes your spirit catches up to things before your mind does. And because you're now approaching the scripture in a different vantage point and you're looking at it differently from a different lens, it will now unfold for you. It's almost like, that old saying that we used to say back in the day, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. When you are really ready to seek after God, you will find him. And not just in a book. Let me just say this. Oh God, now this is where things get a little controversial. If your version of Jesus and God is confined to the 66 books of the Bible, you are very limited. And I said that. You are very most limited. That's one of the reasons why you got to learn how to read some books, okay? Because the spiritual awakening that has to happen in a person to where they understand who Christ is and what he really means for the life of the believer goes far beyond what we have confined in 66 books. Because Paul has to come back later and say we have become living epistles to be read of men, right? You got to be a living epistle. Let's go on a little bit. So I want to talk to you because these pimp preachers, pimp vloggers, pimp people, they never want you to outshine them. The second thing is they never put too much trust in friends or friendship. They use everybody and they weaponize the people that they use like an enemy. So there's always a cunning, undermining, underhanded situation. They conceal their intentions. I want y'all to hear me carefully. When you're dealing with a pimp preacher and a person who has a sinister mentality, they will always have bad motives and conceal their intentions. And one of the things about being a real spiritual person, if you ask God to reveal to you what is going on with certain people and certain individuals, he will reveal it. And let me tell you something, that's one of the dangerous things about really being a spiritual person, because you can literally go to God and say, Lord, I need you to reveal to me what is going on here. I'll give you a perfect example. One night I was really troubled when Daryl was in the thick of his situation, going over there with Dr. Scrotum Sniffer. They and My Little Pony. I mean, Daryl was going at it. And I couldn't sleep one night. And the Holy Spirit got me up and said, I want you to start go through these comments, go through these text messages, and I want you to prepare a response. Now, I didn't even understand what I was doing. And Daryl can verify this. Who else was here? Well, they gone now. But they know that I'm telling the truth. They were asleep. The next day, they came out with a video that said Daryl had threatened to put 3 bullets in somebody's chest. They took a video, spliced it up, and tried to come to the public and say that Daryl said he was going to shoot a certain individual. But the night before, the Holy Spirit had prepared me for a response to the video without me even realizing that there was a response. So the very day that they came out with the video, we had a response within 15 to 20 minutes, because I had the Lord had just got me to preparing all of this stuff the night before, because I couldn't go to sleep. And I was like, okay, well, what am I doing? What am I putting together? I didn't even realize what I was putting together. And I was like, okay. And Daryl can verify this. And I said, wow. And we were able to combat the lie that they told immediately. Now, it took off with some people. And Gerald was here because Gerald said he was too. Some people believed it, because they were trying to make Daryl seem like he was some sort of crazy man and all this kind of stuff. And I said, oh, okay, I see how things are going. But the Lord prepared us. So we were able to understand the intentions of what people were doing before they ever even did what they were trying to do. Are y'all with me? All right. Here's another thing that a person who is crooked and pimping attitudes and behaviors. They always say less and allow you to speak more. They say less, they speak more. Now, I have a habit of talking and telling everybody my business. I do. I have a habit because I'm an open book, right? I'll tell you more about me than you probably should ever know, right? But I don't do that because I just love talking about myself. I do it because I definitely and sincerely want people to get a better understanding of who I am as a person, right? But a lot of times while you're doing the talking, the person who's doing the listening, and this is another thing that I want y'all to listen to me very carefully tonight. Be very careful. Be very, very careful of trusting certain leaders and pastors with your past and with the things that happened to you, even in your childhood, because what you will find is a lot of people will weaponize that. Oh God, I know I'm trying to tell y'all the truth. I was having a conversation with Vincent, and Vincent was talking about how, his former leader would find a thing, they would find something, an insecurity in him or in the people around him. And that leader would use that insecurity over and over again to make them feel less than and small than. And that's what certain pastors and certain leaders, if your leader is always concentrating on your insecurity and the thing that you don't do as well, you understand what I'm saying? You're going to want to make sure that you pay attention to that behavior. All right. Now, For those of us who are vloggers and all of you that are here in this space, I want you to hear me. Your reputation is all you have. One of the things that I am really protective of when it comes to YouTube is my reputation. I've had certain vloggers go around and ask other people who knew me back in the day, have phone calls with other people about me. And what they were shocked to find is that I had a very good reputation. And that is on purpose. And I want to just say, for those of you that are on these YouTube streets, you need to guard your reputation with your life. Don't make content just for people in the comment section. Make your content so that your content can actually, can have impact. You don't make your content just to be simply making content. You make your content so that it can actually have impact in somebody's life. Okay? Now, here's another thing. Another person who's going to try to take advantage of you a lot of times is they're going to court your attention all the time. They want your attention. Everything has to be about them. The focus has to be on them. Now, let me tell you the danger of being a lead, sometimes as a leader. And I consider myself a leader. I'm not a follower. I know that. Okay. When you are a leader, you talk different than most people talk. There is a level of confidence and surety that you have because you're walking in a path and in a place where most people don't have the confidence to walk in. And sometimes when you have confidence to other people who lack confidence, it seems attention seeking. Understand? It seems attention seeking. People court the attention. But here's the funny thing. A tyrannical leader or somebody who's pimping you will always get you to do all the work. And guess what they'll do? They'll come out and take all the credit. I built all of this. This is all me. I built this. That's what they say. I'm trying to help somebody tonight. Pay attention. They will use your money, use your talents, use all of your stuff. And they will say, I built it all. This is the danger of Marvin Winans. Let me speak about Marvin for just a second. I'm gonna get in trouble tonight. I already know it. The danger of Marvin Winans is he's taking all these people money and doing all of this stuff. And he's going to be the owner, the CEO of this big millions of dollars of facility that the church is going to own. So if he ever sells the building, if the building ever gets sold, all of those types of things, guess where the money typically goes back to? It goes back to the person. It gets put into their pocket. Truly, it does. You doing all the work, you selling all the chicken dinners, you selling all the all the fish fries, you doing all the work, but and taking all the money to the church. And then when your pastor builds whatever he's trying to build, he's going to say, look what the Lord has done. And I am the one who's in charge around here. You better not question him. Because remember what I said before, there's a lack of transparency. And they typically have a situation of manipulation as well. There's always a lack of transparency and manipulation as a part of that. Okay? They get you to do the work while they take the credit. How about this? When they've done you wrong and they know they've done you wrong, they're always expecting you to come to them. And they will try to use bait if necessary to get you to come to them. Kind of like, oh God, help me. Kind of like creating a scenario where people come up and do an interview and pretend like they're going to answer questions and they're going to be confronted by the missteps and their intentions that they've had on social media. And they will set it up to where you've got to come in their environment, in their space, in order for them to feel most comfortable. Uh-huh. And so they'll have you to come to them, and they'll use bait if necessary. Now, somebody said, now what kind of bait will they use? Another vlogger. They'll use another vlogger. We're going to have this great talk. We're going to have just a great talk and conversation. And you don't realize you're being baited. You're being baited. I'm just saying, you're being baited. And sometimes you can have enough confidence to go and sit and have the conversation, but it's been a setup from the beginning. It's been a whole setup from the beginning, because you make people come to you. You don't go to the other environment. Now, one thing I will give some of these people credit for, some of these preachers have enough balls that they will come and sit in an environment that they're not accustomed to, but they will most certainly try to make sure that they've got, they've got some scheduled rules put down. Can y'all do me a favor and hit the like button, ladies and gentlemen? I would really appreciate it. I know I'm walking heavy tonight, but I'm really trying to give y'all some information about pimp preachers and pimp people. Pay attention, because this is good information. I promise you it is. Somewhat, and I would agree with that. But see, here's the thing too. Sometimes, in the vlogging space, I will say this: it's hard sometimes to answer some of these questions, because people get real sensitive about things, and you can answer honestly, but they will think that you are being vindictive towards them or towards their platform or towards something. And so they take offense to it, and you have to be very careful how you say and word things. And this is one of the reasons why, to me, and I'll be honest with you guys, this year solidified this for me this year. This is one of the reasons why it's so important to be completely independent and have mature relationships with people, that they can respect you no matter what side of the fence of an issue that you're on, because you're going to have some disagreements, but you have to be mature about them, right? Right. So that's where I stand with that, Tara. But they always make other people come to them, and they create the environment for that. Here's the thing. For the most part, they try to avoid. They always try to avoid. And here are some ways that preaching and pimping coincide. Now, some of you are going to disagree, but I promise you. Now, I gave this on another video on my channel. I gave you the first 10 of these. So there is a video on this already, but I'm going to run through these really quick. Okay, so here we go. We're going to run through this real quick. The first law: they always worry about the money first, and they don't care about your ass at all. They focus on the money first, and you last. Think about all of the people that you're dealing with. Money comes first, you come last. Think about all of the preachers and all of the people that you've worked with, served first, and you served, and they've always been worried about the money, and they've worried about you as an afterthought. You're the afterthought. Here's a second law that it comes in when it comes into pimp preaching. Everybody is trying to get a name in this game of preaching. Okay. Everybody wants their name on a billboard. Everybody's got their name on a business card, on a flyer. Everybody's trying to get a name out there for themselves. And you will hear people, Lord have mercy, talk about their name and, all of this kind of stuff. And I ain't going to use another words, because people going to think I'm talking about them when I'm really not. But they're concentrating on their name and how people are going to know them, right? So the whole focus is to get a name. And in this internet game that people are playing, they're focusing on getting a name, not having a cause. Now, here's what happens. If you confront them, their motto is they don't chase them, they replace them. So then if you ask them a tough question, they're going to kick you out. They're going to get rid of you, kick you to the curb, and they're going to try to replace you with somebody else. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't mind, please hit the like button. Please hit the like button. And if you are a friend of the Mad Church Disease channel and you want to support the channel, please make sure you do so. The Cash App information is on your screen for you, ladies and gentlemen. Please support the channel. If I can get at least 10 of you guys tonight to support the channel with at least $10, it would be very helpful. I would really appreciate it. I want to thank you, Gloria, for supporting the channel. Thank you. Gloria went ahead. I think she's our first person tonight. Thank you so very much. Gloria, thank you so much. Now I just need 9 more of you all to support the channel. I would appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right, moving right along, ladies and gentlemen. Let's move along. All right. Here's the other thing. Oh God, y'all better hear me with this one. They always keep you in the rears. You're never in the plus positive. Now, what do you mean by that? Oh God, this is a good one. This is a good one. The institutional church is the only place where grown-ups are perpetually children. You never mature past your so-called leader. You never get to a place of mutual and equal respect. The institutional church is the only place where everybody that's sitting in the pew is the child, but the person behind the pulpit is the grown-up. And the elders and the other people, they all the grown-ups, and you're the child. So you're never in the positive. And you've never arrived to a spiritual place to where God is no longer angry with you. God no longer hates you. You're always in this place and space of you're a perpetual child because God don't like you and you ain't got yourself all the way together. Here's another thing. They typically prey on the weak. When you look at some of these first ladies that these pastors choose, they don't choose strong women. In a lot of cases, they choose women who are very meek and mild. And I hate to say it, but a lot of them are weak. Some of them have to become strong because of all of the stuff that they learned that they're going to have to deal with in the institutional church, but they prey on the weak. And I want you to understand, most church people depend on the pastor as much as the pastor depends on the church folks. It is a pimp hoe kind of relationship, because the hoe depends on the pimp and the pimp also depends on the hoe. How does the hoe depend on the pimp? Because the hoe has to come every Sunday to sit in the pew to hear a word from the Lord. So you got to have the word of the Lord, because you're not opening your Bible. You don't have no relationship with God. You've got no spiritual development. So you're running to sit in the pew so that you can appease this God that you think is angry and who's mad at you. And so you're going there to appease the pastor. And for God forbid, if you don't go for a couple of Sundays and the pastor starts looking for you, and if you were raised like I was raised, and don't let them catch you in another church, oh my goodness, Lord have mercy, you're in trouble. But the pimp also needs the hoe. Here's why. Because the pimp needs the hoe to get the money and to bring the money in. The hoe has to do all of the sacrificing. The hoe has to put her body on the line. She's got to put her mind on the line. She's got to be able to maneuver through the cold world and the mean streets of the world in order to bring the money back to somebody who is normally somewhere with their foot up while she's doing all the work. Oh my God. And here's the thing that I dislike about this modern game of preaching and this profession of preaching. We have this air and we have this pretense that preachers are busy Monday through Friday, Monday through Saturday. They're just so overwhelmed with work, when most preachers aren't doing anything during the week. If they're full-time in ministry, 9 times out of 10, a lot of them aren't doing nothing. Nowadays, they have a mentality where they send the elders of the church to go visit the sick. A lot of pastors and preachers don't do any of that anymore. And you don't tell me I don't know, because let me tell you. Now, some of them do. Now, I'm not saying all of them, because every time I get into these types of tough subjects, here come everybody. Were you saying that to all pastors? Please listen at what I'm saying tonight. I didn't say everybody, but a lot of them do. And this is a new dynamic of preaching and pastoring in America. It is not the same. It is not how it was when you and I grew up. It is a totally different situation. But the pimp depends on the hoe to go out and bring the money in. And I often tell people all the time, have you ever thought about it, that when you have a need, the pastor says you need to believe God and go get more faith. But when he has a need, he passes the collection plate. My question to you, ladies and gentlemen, is if you have a need and you got to go before God, why doesn't the pastor have to do the same thing? Why doesn't he have to do the same thing? Why doesn't he have to believe God just like you have to believe God? Why doesn't these vloggers who have all of these projects that they're working on, why do they keep coming to you for you to fund their project, but they saying God is calling them to do all of this stuff? And all of these people that are supposed to be millionaires and super rich and doing all of this stuff, why are they coming to you to get your money for you to fund them? Think about it for a second. Just pause and think. Take me out of the equation and think about it as a rational thinking adult. If these people were so uber rich, why would they have to keep coming to you in order for you to fund their projects? Why wouldn't they just write a check for their projects? Or why wouldn't they go and just believe God for those projects, just like they're telling you to believe God? There's a thought, just wanted to say. Here's another way that a pimp has to depend on the hoe. You're doing most of your stuff volunteer. You volunteering your time. You at church 24/7. I can't speak for the rest of you. Lord have mercy. I will be at time. I will be at church 24/7. I mean, from sun up to sundown. And well, it depends on the church. But sometimes I wouldn't even be collecting a check. I remember one particular time when I was, working in the altar worker ministry over there with Clarence McClendon. My department was 500 people. I have 500 people that I was dealing with on a Sunday. For most people, that's somebody's church. There's somebody's church. Their church is 500 people. That was just my department. Okay, y'all understand what I'm saying? That was just my department. Was 500 people in my department. Okay. Coming in, checking in with altar workers and making sure that the altar workers had everything that they needed, going in the back and making sure and assisting folks as they were being led to Christ, and making sure wasn't nothing wicky and wacky going on, because sometimes crazy stuff goes on in church. But the pimp needed me because I was working for free. I was working within their business of quote unquote ministry. Well, this is the first time this has ever happened. I've never had a siren in my neighborhood, and that siren was close. Ooh, wait a minute. Let me text somebody right now. Hold on. I'm sorry. I've never had a siren in my neighborhood. Oh, and that sounds super close. Wait a minute now. I have never had a siren in my neighborhood, and that sounds like a helicopter. So, oh, and they talking. Hold on one second, y'all. I can hear him. Oh, God. Whoever this is a criminal. He in the wrong neighborhood for this. Will y'all give me a moment to pause? Pause. Y'all stay right there. I'm sorry, y'all. I'll be right back. This is literally the first time this has ever happened. Oh, my God. Oh, my Lord. Who is what? What is going on? Oh, Lord. Lord. I don't know what that is. Whoever that is, they must be running. My God, from Zion. I have never had a siren in this neighborhood. What the devil? This is crazy. I'm sorry, y'all. When I hear stuff like that, I'll be like, wait a minute. But obviously somebody's running. They run and they They drive from LA, always come out here trying to run and evade the police. They always do that. Oh my God. Okay, let's move on. Here's another way that the pimp, as I was saying, the pimp always gets you to work for free. You're out there toiling, so doing whatever you got to do. You're toiling in the soil of life, and you're typically bringing all of that stuff to them. And Kimberly, I agree with you. They use you in the name of the Lord. You're an usher. You usher for free. You're on the praise team. You sing. You're on the praise team. You sing for free. Some of them, you're a musician, and they asking you to play and unto the Lord, and they don't even give you no check. Think about this scenario, ladies and gentlemen. Imagine if you had a business where all the employees work for free, and you got to control the money and the revenue. And that is the tiered system of the institutional church. All the money flows up and all the work flows down. But here's the key to church. The key is to make the person in the pew believe that they need you in order for them to survive. This is the pimp hoe dynamic. See, the whole pimp's idea is to get the hoe to believe that she needs the pimp in order to survive. Most of you have a mentality that you need the pimp, the master prophet. You need these people in order for you to survive and for you to have a spiritual understanding and be able to stand on your own 2 feet. They never want to take responsibility for what creates the mentality and the environment of the pew sitter and the person that is simply going and hooking themselves up to the IV of church. They never want to take responsibility for that. Think about what I said. Because some people cannot survive without it. They can't have a relationship with God without it. You ready? Let's go. They pick people who have a need or a desire to be taken care of. They create an environment where you're always longing for heaven and never taking personal responsibility for your life while you are on earth. You have a heaven mentality and you have an earthly struggle. Oh, I said something right there. Oh, I said something right there. You have a heavenly mentality, but you have an earthly struggle. God help me. Where am I at? Oh, I'm sorry. I went past an hour. Where am I at? You always have to tell them that they need you. That's exactly what they do. And let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen, whether you're being pimped by a preacher, pimped by a vlogger, pimped by any person, when the pimping relationship starts, your friendship ends. Because it is a treacherous game in order for them to bond with you, in order to create trust and friendship. And when people don't create trust and friendship, there is a different kind of power dynamic that is at play. And it is typically somebody's being pimped. I'm going to leave my comments there for tonight. I'm going to drop the link. We'll pick up part 2 of this on tomorrow night. So we're going to make this into a whole deal here. Yeah. Because I don't want to go too far. I've already gone over an hour. I try not to go but 1 hour. The link has been dropped. If you want to give commentary to anything that I have thus said, you are more than welcome to come up and to give me your thoughts. Let me run over here to my YouTube so I can pin the link. I'm going to pin the link. And y'all heard me say, when the pimping begins, the friendship ends. Did y'all get the link? I don't even see the link in there. What happened? It says an error occurred. Oh, okay, hold on. It says try it again. Okay. Okay, so that should do the trick. All right, you guys. Good, good, good. All right, now I'm going to drop this link so you all don't take too long to come up. Why is this link not showing up? Is it showing up for y'all? That's crazy. I tell you, this StreamYard has a mind of its own, boy. Um, wait a minute. Can y'all see a link? This is crazy. I don't even see the link. Wait a minute. The last comment I say, yeah, it's Mary Mary's. And y'all don't even see the link that I posted. Okay, let's wait a few minutes here. And we'll see if I can do it again. I'm sorry, y'all. I thought it would just post, but obviously it didn't. Let me see. Let me try this again. Let me see. If this doesn't work, I'm going to copy it and come over to YouTube and put it in there. This is nuts. I don't see the link. The link is just not coming up for you guys. All right, give me 1 second. I'm going to come over to YouTube on my other computer. Oh, man, I bet you my neighbors didn't even come outside to see because, these neighbors, they be scared. They so bougie. They so bougie. They scared. I know they scared. I'll be coming outside. I want to know what's going on because that was way too close for me. That's too close for comfort. I ain't going to lie to y'all. That's way too close for me. All right. That was way too close. All right. Let's see if I can paste this link in there. All right. There we go. Now let me pin this link. Oh my God. That's a mess. All right. If you would like to get, look at now it updates. Look at this foolishness. Now it updates. Ain't that a mess? Yeah, they stopped for me too, y'all. I don't know. That's a YouTube thing. That's a YouTube thing. Okay. But it's back now. Mine's moving. Okay, but the link has been dropped. If you guys have any questions, please make sure you come up. Uh Somebody said the chat is being weird. Yeah, I know. I know. I know. Let me get my other stuff set up here. Da 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 da. Where I want to go with this. For now, we'll do this one because I like this one a little bit better. All right, Mary, good to have you with me today. How are you doing?
When I tell you, I have not laughed so hard at you running to go
Seriously,
check out the siren.
I've never heard a siren. There's never been a siren in this neighborhood. I'm trying to tell you all. There's never been a siren. And that's why I was like, oh my God. And then it was like a helicopter. And I could hear the people talking. And I said, wait a minute. They never get that. I never get that over here. I never get that over here. Never.
Yours truly said, "Oh, you one of the dramatic Leos." I was like, "And is."
Listen, because I don't get that in this neighborhood. Y'all don't understand. We don't have that problem.
Ooh,
Look,
that thing tickled me so much. I think the only other time anything like that happened was the when you could start smelling the smoke from the fire. But ooh wee, that tickled me so much. He said, "Hold on, y'all, hold on."
I don't know. Now, Steph D, I don't know. Steph D, tell me what link you need, and I will try to see if I can work it and put it in the chat. What are you trying to do? Are you trying to sign up for the newsletter? What are you trying to do? Let me go over here.
Oh, I had put in the link to the one where I said like get caught up with all things MCD.
Right.
So I don't know if it maybe posted and it didn't. Maybe it didn't work.
Well, I know Steph D keeps saying that the link is not working for her, so I want to find out what's going on.
Yeah. Does it did it work when you hit the link to
I'm
just
about
now?
to do it right now.
Okay.
Because see, here's the thing: I can send her a link. Um, huh? Let me see. Oh, that was my fault. I misspelled it. Yeah, you got to spell it right. That's the first thing. No,
Oh, I spelled it wrong.
I did. I misspelled it.
Oh, I was about to say I thought I had copy and pasted.
Uh,
Yeah, that's the membership one. Let
uh,
me see.
I don't know you all. I will check it tonight cuz I'm already online here. So I can't let me I can go and check it. Y'all give me some time. Uh but I want to go over these things with you guys because I think this is some good information and I think you guys will most certainly learn some stuff and get some different dynamics from it. Um let me see. Where am I going? Am I going to personal web pages? Yeah, hold on one second. Do, 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 do. Hold on.
While he's looking at his links, I just want to come up and do my typical. I would implore you all to tap into your own intuition, listen to your gut. As soon as something doesn't feel right, like you said, when it goes from preaching to pimping, you should have your own discernment within your own body, soul, spirit, whatever you refer to, should have your spidey senses tingling.
Right.
Listen to y'all's guts. If anything feels off, you don't have to explain it to nobody. Don't let them guilt trip you into why you need to follow them, this, that, and the third. It's you. It's your life, it's your experience. They ain't gotta walk in your shoes and they damn sure don't need your money. Go get
Right.
somebody else's money. Get somebody else to do it. But listen to your gut, your intuition, your own spirit of discernment. And ultimately, you're the only one. It's like you live in your shoes. You know that if you're sowing the seed for your miracle, but you can't go make dinner for your kids when you get out of service,
Right.
that's a problem.
Yeah.
And I get that you're supposed to give as a sacrifice,
Right.
but there also has to be some common sense to it.
Absolutely. I
That
want
is
to
not your Sunday to sow.
I want to tell you I think it's a problem with the website. I don't think it's yeah, it's a problem with the website. It's not you, it's the website.
Okay.
So I'm gonna do a backup one tonight. So because I was gonna create a backup anyway. So I don't know what's going on with link two, but I'll find out. Y'all know I'm gonna find out. Okay. But if you guys need just reach out to me and I'll send you any link that you need. Um,
I
but
think
just
Steph
wait.
was trying to get the newsletter. I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
she was
just
trying
wait
to
till
do that.
tomorrow and I'll have it fixed by tomorrow. So that's
Yeah.
not an issue. I don't know. I can't even get in myself. I'm just telling you, I can't get in.
Oh, okay. So then, yeah, it's their
Yeah, it's
site.
a website issue. It's not you, Steph. It's the website. But I thank you for bringing that to my attention because I definitely, yeah, it's definitely the website. Um, yeah, and Moni's showing me that it has the 404 page with it, and I think Steph mentioned this page as well. All right, I'm gonna create a backup page for that as well. So don't worry about it. I'll fix it. But thus far, Mary, that's kind of the beginning stages of this. I'm gonna exit out of this, and I think that as time goes on, we're gonna talk about it. I've given you guys so much to think about for this first part. How you can recognize the crooked leader, you can the pattern of financial impropriety, how they mishandle the funds, they live beyond their means, they're buying a bunch of stuff that they really can't afford, and you end up having to pay for it, and then they end up having to downsize. They have a lack of transparency. They have a tendency to manipulate you for personal gain. And they also disregard moral and ethical standards. They just live in all kinds of crazy lifestyles. I'm just saying. Now, I'm just trying to tell you.
Yeah, and I mean, and that's the thing. Just because they have that title does not mean that you, as just the lay person, can't pick up that something isn't right. Their title doesn't make them better than or more deserving than you to have nice things, for you to go eat dinner, for you to do
Right.
all the things that they're doing. So, like I said, don't let them guilt trip y'all into thinking, well, he's the man of God. You're a man and woman of God yourself.
Right.
And you should not have to suffer at the hands of making sure your pastor, prophet, preacher, teacher, bishop, elder, whoever is living in luxury, but you can't get out of whatever situation you're in.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And here's another part of that. When you saw certain people come up on the platform, when St. James would ask them a really tough question, they got defensive. You
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying? Part of that is also the defensive side of things. Okay. And they have a situation where they want to shine and they want to be the only one that is to be appeared to be looked at a certain type of way. And so you guys have to pay very close attention to that as well. You can't outshine they will not let you outshine the master. Some of them will circumvent the whole process of actually being mentored and becoming what they want to become because they want to be what they're ultimately they're not. And so it is what it is. They don't put too much trust in friendship or creating a friendship. They've learned how to use their friends. They've turned their friends into enemies by manipulating their friends. By here's another one, concealing their intentions. It is the subtle way that they conceal their intentions so that you don't know what's really behind all that. And that's why I say your discernment has to come into play, and you have to trust God and believe God. They say less, you do all the talking. And so they typically are going to use that to come back to haunt you. All right. And you guys have to remember that your reputation is all that you have, and you have to guard it with your life. And some people will try to soil your reputation in order to offer some level of discredit to you. They will do certain things trying to discredit you by soiling your reputation and creating an atmosphere or an air around you. Oh, they're crazy. Yeah, oh, don't listen to them because they crazy, they wild, they this and they that. Understand
Yeah.
that's done by design.
Yeah,
Um,
anytime that someone goes in and, like you said, is defensive, tries to discredit you, and you know that you did whatever you're doing, as long as you're coming from a pure heart in your movements, anytime someone tries to discredit you, it's a them problem. It's not a you problem, because there's no reason that you should have to feel as though you deserve shame or you deserve to be put down because you stood up for yourself.
right.
You got out of a toxic situation where you realize a certain ministry is no longer serving you, or you realize that you've grown, to be able to work with God one on one for yourself or what have you.
Absolutely.
And they should be proud of you if you are able to develop a relationship and talk and walk with God without needing someone to hold your hand the entire time. That's the
Absolutely.
whole point. It's
Abs-
not for them to always be your transcriber or your GPS, your navigation. You're
Absolutely.
supposed to discern this for yourself. They're supposed to give you the tools to speak with God directly.
Absolutely. And I agree with that. I agree with that. And they court your attention at all times. They get you to do all the work and they take all of the credit. That's something you
Mhm.
need to keep in mind. They make people they create an environment where you have to come to them, and they will use bait in order to get you to come to them. They'll use another vlogger, they'll use other people. They will always create some type of bait filled situation. Okay. They will always win by overreacting and never through the context of the conversation and what is actually being said. They will always win through dramatics and trying to, all that acting, but they will never on the basic level deal with what you're actually talking about. Okay. They will avoid, and I think somebody else in the chat put, they will never answer your question directly if you ask them a
Ever.
question. They never will. So they definitely do that. They will think about the money first and your ass last. Keep that in mind. Their whole focus is to get a name in this preaching game. Everybody wants to have their name in lights. They want to travel. They want to do all this stuff. They don't chase you, they replace you. So they're not even in the business of coming after you. Even the Bible says that Jesus will leave the 99 to do what? Go after one. Jesus will come chasing after you. That's why we
Yes.
got that song, Chasing After Me, he chases after you. They always keep you in the rear. You're never in a plus positive. Your life ain't never up to standard. Your life, you're just an old worm and you're a wretch, and you don't never get past the wretched stage. You just stay a wretch. You don't want to get caught with your work undone. You never become somebody that God loves, uses, and is working through. You just always are in the rear there. Okay.
Exactly.
They prey on the weak. You need to keep in mind they look for people who are weak. And the moment that you exert or exemplify the slightest bit of strength, now you are a threat. So they're going to mark you, and 9 times out of 10, they're going to get rid of you. My relationships with these types of people have always resulted in me having to walk away. And you have to keep that in mind. You have to keep that in mind. Now, I'll tell you my relationship when I had a relationship with a Dr. Scrotum Sniffer. I will be honest with you. What ended up happening for me is I had to walk away, because I realized that there was a dynamic of some stuff going on there that I just could not get. I couldn't get down with. Just so you know. And they look for your insecurities so that they can prey on those insecurities. And when the person can't find an insecurity in you, you're toast. Your days are numbered.
Yes, and I mean, it's the oldest trick in the book, because it just like, for instance, just every average mundane stuff, the diet industry, they know how obsessed everyone is with losing weight, their
Mhm.
aesthetics, their this, their that. So they purposely advertise a certain way. Oh, you're miserable because da 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 da. But if you take my pill, what did Anna Nicole say? Don't you like my body? So just keep in mind that another point that Marcellus made in another live is seeking counsel outside of the church.
Mhm.
If you know for a fact that you survived grape or DV or things of that nature, do not necessarily trauma bond with a whole bunch of other people who have gone through that. Not to say that you shouldn't, find a community in that, but be very careful, because those are the things that they will use to then figure out how to get into your mental state to then become your new abuser for real. So
Absolutely.
so when you're dealing with a just licensed clinical therapist, regardless of if they, like, maybe they have a Christian background, but they're not gonna just spew scriptures at you.
Right.
Like, they can have a Christian background, but as long as they want to make sure you're doing the worldly techniques, such as shadow work or
Right.
whatever, reading certain books, journaling, doing the things towards the healing process versus I'm gonna lay my hands on you and I'm gonna heal this, I'm gonna get this spirit of whatever up out of you. Some of that stuff you need a worldly solution for. So just protect yourself when you know you are a survivor of some of those things, because they will prey on that,
Right.
and in some cases they're going to try to take advantage of that, but they're going to tell it to you in a certain way that now you're thinking it's consensual
Right.
when it's not.
Right.
You're just being remanipulated, but because you shared with them your past experience, they know how to tweak it so it feels consensual.
Right. And I think there's another term I heard. I think it's trauma bonds.
Yes,
Some of
yes.
these people, they concentrate on your traumas, and they create that bond, they bond with you because of your trauma, and you don't know that they're using your trauma to bond with you. And even well, let me just go here. I'm gonna go here and then we're out of here. A lot of people, a lot of these preachers and pastors and a lot of these vloggers will do is they will take your insecurity and they will use that insecurity to create a bond with you and to make you think that they care about what you've experienced and what you've gone through. And the next thing you know, you're in this whole lopsided relationship with this person where there's no
Mhm.
mutual respect, but they're actually looking at you as the project. You've now become the project in a sense, and they know that they can manipulate the situation. Mary, go ahead and give me your final thoughts, and then I'm out of here. I need to go check on what's going on around here.
Look, you gotta go be you gotta go be neighborhood watch.
I do. I
But
need to go outside.
but yes, you guys already know, I feel as though the same level of God, the same level of powers or whatever terms that you guys feel that the preacher and the prophet and everybody else has. I feel that we all possess that within ourselves. Again, I just want to encourage everybody to build up their own personal relationship with God. Realize you can walk away from a preacher, prophet, whoever, and go to a different ministry, and just know that you aren't lower than anybody just
Right.
because they might be your leader or teacher in a certain moment, in a certain setting in your life. And that's
Absolutely.
all I got.
All right. Well, thank y'all. Y'all enjoy the rest of your day. Make sure y'all come here tomorrow. We're definitely going to go over the rest of these. I think you guys will love what I have planned. And you just wait till we get to the gossip and hypocrisy stuff. Man, that whole video is going to be awesome. But I want to talk about the gossip and the hypocrisy of the institution. And we're going to deal with that on a greater level. So I look forward to seeing you guys, and we're going to talk about it even more. So y'all hit the like button on your way out. I love and appreciate you, and I'll see you on tomorrow's broadcast. Thanks everyone for watching. Your support means the world to us. Please make sure that you hit the like button, and please make sure that you subscribe to the channel, and make sure you hit the bell icon, and make sure you press all notifications so that way you will never miss any of the exclusive content that comes on my channel. Make sure that you never miss a video. Now, I try to go live every day about 2:30 Pacific Standard Time, which is about 5:30 Eastern Standard Time, and then I come back at night at around 8:30 Pacific Standard Time, which is about 10:30 Eastern Standard, with some more exclusive content. So if you want more Mad Church Disease show content, we'd love for you to become a member, a revolutionary member of our channel. Please make sure that you hit the join button that's right next to the subscribe button or somewhere around here, so that you guys can receive access to special community posts. You guys get all of the access to my community only lives, because we've got some sipping chats that we're going to be doing, and you guys will get exclusive content. So just make sure that you head on over to the channel page, click on the join button, and make sure that you do that. Thanks again for watching. I appreciate your love and support, and I'll see you on my very next video.
We are Mad Church Disease, helping you understand that Jesus plus nothing is everything. This is a show for everyone, believers and non-believers, from churched to the unchurched. Help us grow the channel by supporting our non-profit causes and create more consistent content. Donate by Cash App or PayPal, or buy us a coffee at buymeacoffee.com.